But yeah, let's move on now, Benji, to the women's recap. Get all the stats up. We had more upsets as well and more Dutch. I guess a Dutch redemption story, just not the rider we expected. She was not even the favourite out of the Dutch women. Annemiek van Vleuten, as Benji mentioned at the top of the show, maybe this course being harder than we expected, with a 44k an hour average, winning this TT on 30 minutes and 13. They do 22ks, half the distance, the women. Marlon Reusser, the Swiss, she does get the silver medal despite Kung not getting a medal on 56 seconds, 6 seconds out of Van der Breggen in third. So Netherlands get gold, silver, and bronze across the two TTs. With Van der Breggen in third, 7 seconds ahead of Grace Brown. Lovely performance from her, actually. And then Amber Neben, the 46-year-old, fifth, crazy level on 113. Brennau, then Dygart seventh on 216. Moolman, Labou, Longo, Borghini. What's happened here for me, Benji, is I've just looked at Annemiek van Vleuten's last 2 sort of years on pro cycling stats. I've not really gone back further. In TTs where it's a 40 to 44k an hour average, if it's Dutch national champs or world champs, she's always first or second. So should we really be surprised by Van Vleuten destroying everyone like this?
Well, she was one of the 3 favorites, so it's not like it comes out of the blue, but I think we just underrated the climbing a bit too much, because eventually, well, Van der Breggen obviously a good climber as well, so that take is a bit meh, but I think that Van Vleuten in general just simply rode from the start a really good performance, and the second that you have a good time at the first time check, that's going to give you motivation to keep it up towards the end. By the way, did you notice, like, did they have communication? Or, because like in a time trial, you obviously have like the car that sometimes in World Tour race and so forth always tells you corner coming up to the right.
They all had radios, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I was just surprised to see that, because I was thinking beforehand perhaps they might not, because this is like the Olympics, but it kind of makes sense that they do.
It's a safety thing, I think.
Yeah, I think that also motivates you if you, after the first time check, you're first after that climbing section as Van Vleuten. Van der Breggen will know, okay, you're a bit behind. I don't know if that influences riders differently. For example, Van Vleuten might get a serious boost from that and like, okay, I'm first at the moment, while Van der Breggen might be like, shit, this is not what I expect. I hope to be closer at this point. And Van Vleuten kept that up throughout the entire parkour, and that's where other riders started crumbling where Van Vleuten didn't. And the co-favorite, Chloe Dygart, is the one that crumbled the most. And like, to me, it's pretty clear that it's as a consequence of the injury, because like she looked hurt throughout the parkour. I felt hurt watching her ride. And even after the race finished, she was laying on the ground and she felt like, it looked like she was cramping in her left leg, the leg where she had the injury. So it's unfortunate to see that she's still having consequence of that. But on the other hand, it's awesome to see that she's able to ride at such a competitive level coming from such an injury. Same story as Remco in the men's race, in my eyes. So while the result is nowhere what we expected from Chloe Dygart, I think she should still be proud knowing where she came from personally. But you said it. I think the American that performed gracefully today was Amber Neben. And like, we can talk about the age, but she shows that age isn't everything, because every single ITT and World Champs and so forth, she performs and she does it again, and she might again next year, to be honest. So
it's crazy.
Crazy performance. Like, so outrageous. I love it. I absolutely love it. And what's your other takes on this? Did you think that Grace Brown would be coming up so closely to the winner?
I didn't, because I was disappointed with her performance in the road race. And again, like with the men's, I maybe overvalued the road race as an indicator for the TT. But if you exclude that, well, who's been the best long-range efforts in the Ardennes this year and maybe last year? Grace Brown in Rolly Parcours. So it makes complete sense. And she's, 7 seconds behind Van der Breggen, close to getting a bronze medal here, which I honestly thought she'd maybe come 8th. So really, really solid. And beating Brennau by a lot, the German, who's, again, maybe Marlon Reusser, her performance is outstanding as well, I got to say. I mean, 29, she's been beaten in, I don't know, just crazy performance from her. What I'd like to call out as well is Massima Alizada on the refugee Olympic team, riding, I think she's from Afghanistan, young 25-year-old. She competed here as well. So really good to see that. yeah, she came last, but like good to see. I think that story as well. There might be some media about that or social media docos hopefully coming out as well. Otherwise, I thought Longa Borghini would do a little bit better, Benji. 2 minutes 50. Speaking of people who are good on rolly parkour and, how she did Trofeo Alfredo Binjo, just goes to show that
Yeah.
road racing isn't everything. I think Dygart, I don't know if it's the injury, if it's cramping. We saw Izagirre cramp so badly he had to leave the men's race or couldn't finish. I still think, yeah, whatever it is, me and you we were out on Dygart winning this. That was the position we took, but I
I had
still
Van der
thought
Breggen.
she would medal.
Yeah,
I still thought Dygart would medal. So I don't know. I hope she's okay for the track events because that was probably her big focus. But Emma Norsgaard, are you surprised by her 3:37 back, Benji, on a 30-minute TT?
Well, it seems like she paced it completely different than other people because she started off with 2 minutes down already at the first time check. That's after the climbing section, which means that she tried to use the descent afterwards and the relatively flatter part towards the end compared to the initial climbing section to try and stay more afloat. Eventually, she ended on like 3:37 or something. That's not a great performance, but I think we said it. We expected more from her on shorter time trials than on this parkour, and eventually it does display that it's too much climbing and that it's too long for her. But I still would have had her at like 12th instead of like 17th or something. So it's still under what I expected, but it's not outrageous that she doesn't top 10 here. That's somewhat expected in my eyes, at least. So I think that she needs another parkour to do better. Quite simple as that, and that's also the thing here, because like Amavi Garcia, she's a good climber, but on this parkour, you do see that the climbing isn't everything, despite it being an important factor, because she ends up second last from the World Tour riders. So, well, actually, no, last from the World Tour riders. So it does seem like
She's a bad
it has
descender.
a. Yeah, is that the reason?
Mavi Garcia is a terrible descender. Like don't you Strada Bianchi following Van Vleuten
Oh
horrendous.
yeah, true.
Yeah, she's not a good descender. And then in Burgos, Benji, wasn't she in the break with the rider that ended up winning the stage from a breakaway from
Don't
memory?
remember.
Maybe
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm making it up, but yeah, I think I am. But she's not a great descender, and that's what we saw is riders who are able to freewheel in the descents or get a bit more recovery there and then attack the climbs with the riders that did really well. Or yeah, maybe I guess that's how Van Vleuten approached this race. I'm still surprised that she put a minute or two into Van der Breggen.
Yep.
I guess she did have good legs, mainly because I guess that goes to show how strong Kiesenhofer was, Benji, that she held a gap stable at 5 minutes to Van Vleuten when she attacked him and then was trying to TT in the road race. But yeah, I think a minute or two into Van der Breggen is crazy, but still redemption, I guess, for the Dutch women. I mean, they've taken silver in the road race, now gold and bronze. They can't be too mad with that. Dygert could have beaten them. I guess what's next for Van Vleuten? We've got I think we got the Ladies Tour of Norway coming up. Yep. I'm not sure if she's doing the Theratizit Vuelta Challenge. Surely she'll be doing World Champs. Would you expect? I'd expect Dygert to be much better on the World Champs TT course, Benji, right?
I think so as well. The parkour should fit her much better on paper. Yeah, that's true. So you're right. I expect her to do better there, but it really just felt like injury-driven pain in the second lap for me. Like it's
True.
Exactly the spot on her leg that she was holding that was a spot where she had the huge cut. So I hope it's not staying. I hope that she finds a way to push through that barrier and finds a way to just upper performances again. But it's still a great performance in my eyes just because she came back from that. Looking at Van der Breggen, what's next for her? We know that she's retiring at the end of the season. She was planning to do so after the Olympics because she wanted a final shot at the Olympics ITT. And now she got that. She ended up with bronze. And I guess she's now going towards a DS role or something at this D-Works, which
yes,
I think she's going to do really well personally. But it's interesting because, like, it's their final. Is she going to be disappointed with a bronze medal, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think the target was gold for her. That's why I was so surprised she didn't work as a domestique in a road race. I thought her target was, because she had the gold in road race 2016, I thought her aim was gold in the TT. Van Vleuten was just on a better day, and yeah, the course was super hard, like 43k an hour average. I think Van der Breggen, we saw in the uphill TT at the Giro Rosa, like she's just unbeatable, but that didn't seem to be too relevant here. That was like 27k an hour average, and yeah.
Yeah, but it was an uphill time trial, so I didn't expect it to be 50k an hour either, to be honest.
So I don't know what's next for her. Well, I can't see any races next on her program. She's retiring at the end of the year, not now. Hopefully she can go out with a bang at either World Champs or in the road race, or the ITT, or the Vuelta Ceratizit Challenge if she's doing that, which is a World Tour, Women's World Tour stage race. But yeah, Marlen Reusser, solid from her. I think she's kind of gets the Kung treatment where she's often competing against.
Yeah.
She's never won a World Tour race, Benji.
Really?
Yeah, she's
the
never.
Kelderman?
Yeah, she's never won a TT against anyone except Switzerland, the Switzerland national champs.
That's insane. Like, she deserves more at this point. We should start a petition to get her a victory somewhere.
We need to send her to the right races. We need to just get her going to. Like, if Marlen Reusser, she's obviously, I guess the problem is there's not that many TTs for the women throughout the year as well. But yeah, I mean, she Reusser, yeah. I can't believe she never won a race. I'm so shocked by that. But yeah, any last thoughts on the women's TT, Benji?
Really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy the fact that I woke up at 4 a.m., but now I feel like I know how it felt for you in the past. It's always funny because, like, you live in Australia, you're prepping to move to Europe to apply a different schedule, and then you can watch throughout the days, and then we arrive at the Olympics and it's in Japan and it's back in your old time zone, basically. So I just find it funny, but now I feel like I know how it feels for you, so that's pretty enjoyable. Nonetheless, I enjoyed the time trial. I think that it's good that the Dutch had their fight back. We were expecting a Dutch winner, just not this one. And I'm happy that we see Dygart compete again at a level, at any level, to be honest. So that's what I'm happy
I
about.
thought the Dygart story was sad, to be honest. I
think,
well, this is not what she wanted, and it's not the level she's better than this. So whatever's gone wrong with her recovery, yeah, it's a shame. Hopefully it's just cramps, but I want to see Dygart in Europe. Come on, after the Olympics, Kane Schramm, they got her on a deal till 2024. Yeah. She's been in America all year and then come to the Olympics. That was her target after, she had the crash last year, then recovery, then Olympics postponed, then she can focus on the gold medals at the Olympics. Okay, done now. I want to see her in Europe, road racing, see what she's got. Hopefully she'll do the World Champ. Pardon? Yeah.
She's gonna win races.
She's a beast.
What kind of races would you say she could win throughout the season? What type of parcours and such outside of time trials?
Like the World Champs parcours looks pretty good for her, to be honest. I'm trying to look through the races that not Flèche, not Liège, not Amstel. Probably the problem is her handling. So, like, I want to say Tour of Flanders and Omloop, but the problem is her handling into the Dutch. So that's the main obstacle for her. So handling, her bunch ability. She's probably better in, say, Giro Rosa, more normal stages. I see a problem for her in the Belgian Classics if she still has the bunch issues.
I think the initial races that she could indeed do well at is a stage win here or there in such races like Giro Rosa, but also in like a Burgos or something, and those type of races. And even if you say, for example, Tour of Flanders, you could pull that back and you could say she could do well in Brugge de Panne because it has less cobbles, it has less of those hilly terrain, but towards the end, it's often decided with riding very fast on a very important moment and try and get away from a group or something, try and go solo to the line from a group that has a sprinter somewhere and they don't want to work together, Grace Brown style, for example. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting. That's, I guess, a conclusion.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's why I want to see it. I want to see this project taking a pursuit rider from America. Not, she only won with solos in the Colorado Classic off the front. put her in Belgian conditions. Let's see what can happen, and try and break up the Dutch dominance. But anyway, or Grace Brown dominance rather in the Ardennes next year. Let's calm down. Grace Brown going to absolutely slap Demi Vollering in every single race with no Van der Breggen to hold her hand at the end of Liège and La Course. But that's the end of the podcast recap today. Hope you enjoyed me going bonkers at the end. We'll see you with, what's next, Benji? Classic of San Sebastian this weekend. Holy
yeah, exactly.
Shit.
And like, we got to talk about it. Like, there's first San Sebastian, then the Vuelta starts. We've got Bing Bang Polonia. We have Ladies Tour of Norway, the Women's Tour. We have Simak Ladies Tour. We've got about 5 women's stage races in the span of a month. And then you've got Lombardia, Roubaix, World Champs, European Champs. It's going to be a busy ride still. Like, it looks like it's almost over the season because we're after the Tour de France, after the Olympics, but we're basically just halfway. And on one end, I'm very happy about it. On the other end, I'm not sure I'll survive towards the end of the season.
Jesus. That's a lot of racing, but I'm looking forward to all the women's racing, a lot of different races coming up.
Certainly.
I've forgotten when the Arctic race is. I've got video rights for that, so they'll have highlights on my main channel. We won't have podcast recaps of that because it's not a World Tour level race. And then we'll have the Vuelta, so we'll have our big Vuelta previews. But if you want to support the podcast, if you're enjoying all the content and maybe want to give us a bit of motivation for the upcoming grind, make sure to give us a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if that's where you listen. Give us a review on podcast players or a rating, even if it's abuse, if it's 5 stars, I don't care. I like to laugh at the reviews. And yeah, otherwise, we've also got a Ko-Fi link down below if you want to support the podcast directly. But most importantly, thanks to our show partner, Luke Cole, who produced Performance Cycling Apparel. But until San Sebastian, I think, unless Benji tells me otherwise, see ya.